Over at DC Comics, the publisher is in a massive season of change, with several of their core books changing hands right now. One such title, which is going down the same path as DC's ongoing Flash series, is their core Wonder Woman title, where the main writers of Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad are set to go ahead and pass the torch over to Daniel Sampere and writer Tom King to tell a story about Wonder Woman's daughter, Trinity. My name is Araco Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and explore the pages of Wonder Woman 800 to see how the first appearance of Trinity sets the course for the future of Diana. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And I want to go ahead and give some context behind Wonder Woman 800 with DC Comics solicitation text for the issue. Diana's visions become more vivid as she finds herself trapped in the dreams around her. As she struggles to escape, her life of Wonder Woman hangs in the balance. When the dust settles, will she still be the Amazon's greatest champion? Find out in this extra special celebration. And I want to go ahead and introduce the creative team over behind this first story in Wonder Woman 800 called Whatever Happened to the Warrior of Truth, Part 2. This one is written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad, featuring art from Joelle Jones, Alitha Martinez, Mark Morales, Nick Robles, Todd Nauck, Skylar, Patridge, Cully, Hamner, and Jen Bartel. We also have colors coming in from Jordie, Bellaire, Tamra, Bonvillain, and Jen Bartel. Pat Brosseau is on the letters over for this issue, and the cover for the tale is coming in directly from Yanick Paquette. Here's a look over at Yanick Paquette's triumphant cover celebrating this milestone issue for Diana with Wonder Woman 800. And I want to extend a big thank you over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of Wonder Woman 800 so quickly with all these really wonderful covers. And here's a look at some of the interior art over in the story. I really love how this book kind of changes artists, largely depending on what character Wonder Woman is currently, going through in their sort of dreamscape. I love how this issue kind of features a callback over to that great Superman story, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and just features a really fantastic celebration of Diana Prince Wonder Woman going back and spending all these times with the kind of wider cast of Amazons, as well as the various Wonder Girls and several other kind of key characters to DC's continuity. I really enjoyed this last issue of Wonder Woman and how it featured kind of an extended look over at Steve Trevor and Sigurd, as drawn by Alitha Martinez. I think when Martinez kind of draws some of the pages in the issue, it has a more, serene, a more cerebral vibe. And I love the fact that all these different artists kind of upset the flow of the issue and make it, I think, visually interesting to look at. Sometimes these anniversary issues over at DC Comics have a hard time justifying the art team switch, but I think this issue does such a great job kind of moving between one Wonder Woman supporting cast member over to the next. And I love how this book also brings the sort of main Wonder Woman plot thread with Wonder Woman kind of going through the Isle of Healing inside the Cave of Everyone, trying to wake up from this deep sleep that she's in over in the tale. In addition here, I think this book does just a wonderful job kind of recontextualizing several relationships, whether it's Donna Troy, Artemis, and Cassandra. This issue has so many sort of great moments as well. And I think one of the kind of standout artists across this issue was definitely Cully Hamner. I think Cully Hamner's sequence had a surprise character over at DC that I was really happy to see him take on. And I think that Cully Hamner's line can be a little bit visually dynamic and crooked in certain instances, that makes it super fascinating to look at. Of course, it was also wonderful checking in with the character of Yara Flor as well. Really like the material that Joelle Jones drew and how it sort of called back to some of the Wonder Girl issues with Joelle Jones as well. There were also some really nice moments for characters across the DC universe, a little bit outside of the publisher. The second story in this issue has a big focus over on the Trinity. So I like that some of these ideas were kind of explored in the first half of the issue to give Wonder Woman 800 a more dynamic feeling overall here. I think this is a really solid package as well. One artist that I definitely wasn't expecting to see in some of these pages, but who I also think turns in really wonderful work here is Jen Bartel. I think Jen Bartel also does just kind of a wonderful job, kind of contrasting the essence of masculinity versus what Wonder Woman kind of employs over as a character. And two, I think Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan also do a wonderful job making sure that the kind of focus on the wider aspects of the Amazons are kind of centered over in this tale. One thing that I really would have liked to see over in this final issue is just a quick cameo over from Mary Bromfeld. Mary Bromfeld has some really great moments with Diana over in Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods, as well as Billy Batson. I think we're missing a moment from him here, as I would definitely love for this book to kind of call out each moment of Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad's Wonder Woman run, including that excellent Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods series. Overall, though, I think this is such a wonderful way to close out a run of Wonder Woman. I think that so many people lose sight of how interesting Wonder Woman's supporting cast can be, and I love that this book places such a heavy emphasis on it. In fact, I think this makes for a really interesting contrast over for the second story that I want to go ahead and talk about. This one is called Trinity, and it features writing from Tom King, art from Daniel Sampere, colors from Tomeu Morey, and letters from Clayton Cowles. So this Trinity story is the big debut over for Tom King and Daniel Sampere over on the Wonder Woman property. This story was very, very interesting as it kind of plunges into the future of DC to examine a new Trinity. I am going to let you know just a couple details about this. I especially want to go ahead and get into the Trinity in this story, but I want to give you maybe a bit of a spoiler warning. If you want to go in and see the debut of Trinity fresh, maybe go ahead and pick up this issue, pause our review, and come back later. But for everyone else, I want to go ahead and get into some plot details over in this new chapter. Essentially, this Trinity story actually introduces us to Jonathan Kent, Damian Wayne, and Trinity as the new sort of Trinity of the DC universe. And I was really shocked to see DC go in such a different direction with Wonder Woman. One of the things that I was a little bit concerned about is the publisher kind of keeping the continuity cohesive. And I feel like Tom King is doing something so much different from what Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad have done over in their main story. I think that the past couple years, especially in terms of their Wonder Woman run, they invested so much time building up their Amazon cast members like Nubia and Yara Flor that it's really hard to not feel a little bit kind of, vexed by this big sweeping change over from King and Sampere. And, if that wasn't jarring enough, it felt like DC already had a kind of future state for the kind of members of the Trinity too, because in DC's kind of future state line-wide crossover, we had Jonathan Kent, who is actually the Superman over in this issue, but we had Tim Jace Fox as the next Batman and Yara Flor as the Wonder Woman. And I have to say here, it's a little bit disappointing that DC's kind of lost focus on some of these really fascinating and diverse characters and have shifted gears over into this new Trinity. In the Trinity over in this issue, we actually get Damian Wayne, who I always like seeing in some of these contexts, but I think Tom King does fall into the trap of making the dialogue a little bit too cheeky over in this story. When we first get the kind of introduction of Trinity, I love the fact that Trinity has a personality, but I think the way that she kind of enters the story immediately takes some of the kind of tension of the story away. And it's just a little bit weird how she's kind of late to her appearance in the issue, but she immediately tries to call some of the other people in the issue out. And I know what Tom King is going for because I've read so many of Tom King's titles. And I know too that this issue is really kind of devoted to giving you an epic feel as each member of the Trinity is enduring a kind of trial over in this mysterious and magic cave. I love the kind of bones of this story, but just the way it's told in terms of the dialogue is really kind of what's holding me back over in this chapter. I think some of the impulses for characterization in terms of kind of Trinity in particular is probably the strongest out of the kind of Trinity written here over from Tom King. I think that Trinity definitely has some fascinating moments here. There's really interesting nuggets of continuity there that are unveiled as the issue kind of continues here. And also, I do like this climactic conversation that Trinity is having with the mysterious character who might be revealed over in the pages of Wonder Woman #1. But at the end of the day, here, it's hard for me to feel like this story is anything but extremely disconnected from that first story. And I felt like it would have been so much easier to build on top of the foundation that DC has already established instead of going in a hard left or right turn here. At the end of the day here, those are some of my thoughts on Wonder Woman #800. I'm definitely going to go ahead and give Tom King and Daniel Sampere's run on the property a chance to grow on me. As of right now, though, it's hard for me to picture kind of what role Trinity can serve in the DC universe that characters like Yara Flor essentially can't. So, really want Tom King and Daniel Sampere to kind of continue justifying why some of these characters are introduced right now. I definitely want to know if there's going to be some additional kind of plot implications over, with this kind of future storyline over in DC. And I'm definitely happy with how Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan went ahead and closed out their run on the title. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on the debut of Trinity? And did you enjoy the kind of first story closing out the run and homaging a just wonderful Superman story? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our review over on Wonder Woman issue 800. And we'll be back really soon for all things Trinity, Wonder Woman, and DC Comics. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.